Hey everyone, in today's video I'll be going over a Captain America themed build. And it covers everything from his shield to his fists and one other special weapon. I'm not going to mention what it is because it is a bit of a surprise, even though I feel like quite a few of you already know what it's going to be. Also, this build can pump out a really good amount of damage while supporting your teammates at the same time. It's nice because you can be a helpful team player, or if you're playing solo, you can easily push through the game. Now, don't forget to subscribe for more weekly content, because if you don't,
I got a few moves I know you'll like.
If you find this video enjoyable, I have tons of other build related videos on my channel, if you want to check them out afterwards. Well, saying all of that, let's dive into the build, starting off with Captain America's iconic weapon, or in this case, his shield. The closest looking thing that we have to this is the black leather shield. Now the damage on it's not good at all no matter what you do because first off, it's a shield. Like it's not supposed to do damage really, and secondly, it's also a medium shield so it's going to do even less damage. But don't worry, I have a way around this. Like you can go with the Great Shield, it's just the moveset is so boring with them, it looks like you're constantly pushing an enemy away from you. Versus medium shields where your character actually throws a combo out. So to get around this huge inconvenience, you'll want to use the cold variation on it to proc a freeze buildup on enemies. Cause if you didn't know, a frost buildup deals damage based on their max health. Similar to a bleed buildup, but not as much damage though. And on top of that, it makes that enemy take an additional 20% increased damage for 30 seconds. So not only are you going to deal extra damage, but your teammates as well. Now that's how we're mainly going to use the shield, taking a chunk of health away and debuffing enemies. But again, it's a shield, so it's also going to be used to block attacks. Even though it's going to be in our main hand so we can attack with it, we're still going to be able to block hits as well. We're just going to need the Ash of War Barricade for it. So when you're one-handing the shield with your fist as your other weapon, normally you wouldn't be able to block. But when you activate the Ash of War Barricade, your character instantly two-hands the shield, blocking whatever attack comes at you. And you can also counterattack from it as well, which is pretty cool. One downside to the shield though, is it doesn't have 100% physical damage protection. So when we block a hit, we're still going to take a little bit of damage from that. We can kind of get around this by using the DRAGONCREST shield talisman. That'll increase all of our physical damage negation by around 17%. Or you could use the Albinauric shield that has 100% physical damage reduction, so you can get around that completely. But you will lose a bit of the Captain America look cause the shield's oval looking. That's everything for the shield now, so let's move on to our fist weapon cause we all know Captain America loves throwing hands. The closest thing we can do to barehanded punching while being able to do some really good damage is to use the spiked CAESTUS with the lightning variation. And these things can hit like absolute trucks, so when you use the lightning variation, obviously we're going to get some lightning damage added to our weapon, but it also gets, I don't want to say good, but okay scaling in dex, coming in at a C rating. And cause it's got a C rating, we can throw on MILLICENT'S Prosthesis that adds an extra 5 levels of dex to increase our damage. And it also increases our attack power with successive attacks. It's going to be a nice talisman to have on you. Lastly, we have the Ash of War. There's not a lot of options when it comes to fist-styled weapons, but the best one we can use is going to be Bloodhound's Step. This is just going to give us a lot more mobility when we're up close fighting, in case we need to escape a large attack very quickly, and it matches with the Captain America theme because of his speed and mobility. So when we're two-handing our fist, we can attack really fast, like almost rapid fire fast. So using the Rotten Wing Sword talisman is going to increase our damage with successive attacks, which isn't going to be too hard to get going with our fists at all. And one little bonus about the CAESTUS is it passively comes with bleed buildup no matter what. So we can usually score 1 to 3 bleed buildups in a boss fight for even more damage, as if we didn't do enough. Next, I want to get into that special weapon I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, that being Thor's hammer. The best option we have for this is the hammer. Like, that's literally all it's called, hammer. Again, we're going to want to use the lightning variation for the most damage possible, and it just goes with the whole Mjolnir theme, so that's a nice little bonus. Now with its Ash of War, we're going to use Lightning Slash, because you can't throw the hammer like he does in the movie, but you can call down a lightning strike to do a ton of damage. And it buffs our hammer with even more lightning damage, so this is going to be one absolute brick of a weapon we're going to be throwing around. And cause both of our weapons do lightning damage, it only makes sense to add the Lightning Scorpion Charm to add an extra 12% damage to all lightning attacks. The next thing we should get into is Captain America's Super Soldier formula. Or the next best thing, buffs we can use. So something we can use would be the spell Golden Vow. It's going to increase our damage output by 15% and our protection by 10% for 80 seconds. This is something you'll want to use before strong enemies or boss fights. And there's no special seal to use with this, like you can go with just the finger seal cause it's so easy to get and the stat requirements are so low to use it. Lastly for the buffs, we got the Flask of Wondrous Physic. The best two tiers to use with this is the Lightning tier to increase all of our lightning damage by an additional 20%, and the Thorny Crack tier which does the exact same thing as the Rotten Wing Talisman, increasing our attack power with successive attacks, and these two stack on top of each other. So start swinging and you'll see those damage numbers rack up really fast.
Smash.
Before I get into the minimum stats required, I'll go over the armor I'm using. It's nothing special, I just like the way it looks since there isn't anything that really matches Captain America's outfit. So for that, I'm using no helmet, altered Vagabond armor, Perfumer's gloves, and the Vagabond Greaves. Again, there's no passive buffs with this armor, it's all simply for cosmetic purposes only. Now for the minimum stats required, you'll need at least 14 strength, 10 dex, and 25 faith to use all the weapons and spells effectively. Afterwards, I'd recommend putting majority of your points into dex to further increase your damage with the lightning infused weapons. I'm also going to put links in the description down below for all the gear I'm using, if you want more information on them and where you can find them all for yourselves. That's everything for today's video. I'd like to give a big thanks to the members of my channel for supporting me on my videos and the future ones to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.